So my name is Lilian Teran. I'm president of Adelante Comunidad Conejo, and I have my two co-vice presidents, Carol Shelton and Linda Carr. And we're gonna start by telling you our mission. Our mission is to bring Conejo Valley Latinos families' voices into important conversations in the community. And it's also to advocate for those who are not ready to speak by themselves, regardless their income and their immigration status. Next slide, Carol, please.
From the moment that Adelante became an organization in the community, as Lillian just said, our main goal is being to lend our voices to the Latino community, and particularly to the monolingual Spanish speakers. We started by creating a connection with the leadership at the local school district and trying to help the families and collaborate with the district to find a way to improve the school services for the students of the area. We have, up to now, we have built a real connection, an honest, open connection with the families in the Conejo Valley, to the point that whenever there are concerns, the families have any need, they come to us and we do hear those concerns and we listen to them and we work with the families to help them connect with the proper resources that would help them resolve those needs and find venues to address their concerns. Next slide, please.
Perfect. Adelante's COVID, sorry. Oh my goodness.
You skip one.
I know, I'm like, wait, that's not my slide. Sorry. So the COVID-19 crisis, the pandemic really did bring on some devastating challenges to the families that we were supporting pre-pandemic. Many of those challenges were brought on by the pivot to remote schooling and what that meant for families that didn't have stable internet, that didn't have a device, that lived in situations where the students couldn't engage in Zoom instruction because they really did need a background, a physical background. And thankfully, with the collaboration with our district, we were able to get those families the backgrounds. Many of our families face a loss of jobs and income due to the many closures of the businesses. And matters became substantially worse because many of our families are frontline workers. And so they were exposed to and contracted COVID. And what we did to support those families in the very worst circumstances was we provided them additional food and support so that they could come out of the COVID diagnosis intact. Thank you.
Our response in the beginning, it was like we were contacted by families saying that they couldn't get to the side of the schools to give their children's lunches because they didn't have transportation, or the kids were alone because they were working and they were trying to find a work, or they were immunocompromised people. So we delivered for more than 100 children every day from March to June. Also, while we were delivering these lunches, the families begin to open up, and they were begin telling us how they were struggling to find some items in the supermarket. So the Adelante members and some of our friends begin going shopping and try to find all these items like toilet paper, tortillas, and rice. We began also being contacted by families saying that they were struggling because of the remote learning. So we began advocating for those children, mostly for those who their family weren't fluent in English. We partnered also with a manager of some apartment complex in the downtown of Thousand Oaks to put a place. They had a community center closed because of COVID-19. So we asked him, do you have a space where we can put food so families of this complex can come and pick up food whenever they need it? And he said yes, and then the word spread out. People begin coming from the neighborhood, and then we are having families coming from everywhere to this food pantry. And we have held thousands of people in this place since March. Next slide, please, Carol.
Currently, Adelante is still holding the food distributions. Once we establish a center to have and to provide food for access for food to the families, we also found a way to partner with other agencies in the county, like, for example, Food Share. And we became one of the agencies that received support from Food Share. That helped us to create a more regular stream of food that was accessible to the families via drive-through distributions. We have our drive-through distributions every week. It's not twice a week, it's every week. And we have them every Saturday morning. We hold them at 2 different locations. With the local school district, we are able to utilize the parking lots of 2 of our local elementary schools, Conejo Elementary and Glenwood. And right now, the way that we do it is we alternate. So we are one Saturday at Conejo, one Saturday at Glenwood. This Saturday, for example, we'll be at Glenwood. We created a way for families to register to participate in the distribution, not as a requirement, but as a way to help us plan. When a family make a reservation, it helps us have an idea how many families are we expecting. We always try to have more than the number of registrations on our Eventbrite site. That way, no family come by and drive away empty-handed. Every Saturday from 10:30 in the morning to 11:30 at these different schools, we set up, like you see on this slide, flower shop. These are donations from Trader Joe's. We have food that come from Food Share, and we also receive donations from other local organizations and stores. For example, we have the wonderful bread from Panera. We receive donations of different daily need items like shampoo, lotions from Target. And we do have a good stream of supplies that we make available to the families every week. Next slide, please.
The Adelante Shadows Pantry. Thankfully, that apartment complex that agreed to host our food pantry. Thank you, Mayor Bill De La Pena, for recognizing Callie and Amy Delgado for their help in feeding the families of the Conejo Valley. As you can see here, families are able to select from a variety of healthy and nutritious options such as milk, eggs, beans, tortillas, oil, salt, jelly, you name it, the pantry has it. And one of the pantry is open on Wednesdays and Fridays from 5:30 to 7:30. And as Lillian and Linda have discussed, we serve the entire Conejo Valley, as well as anybody that arrives will receive food. There are no questions asked. We just ask that social distancing and face masks be worn at all times. One of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot is a sense of community that this pantry has instilled in that apartment complex. More care is taken about the grounds. Residents are caring for one another. They're connecting with one another. One of the things that has been wonderful about this pantry is a lot of these items were hard to find. I know that has been talked about before, but families are able to get the toilet paper and the paper towels that has been virtually absent from store shelves through the pandemic. This is a wonderful opportunity for families that are struggling to make ends meet. And they're also able to choose from beef or chicken.
We always need volunteers, and we appreciate our volunteers. We work a lot in the United Methodist Church. We are there on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays. We have different schedules, so you can see them online. And we're showing some picture of our work in the United Methodist Church. On Thursdays, we make our dry bags, and on Friday, we work in the produce bags that we're gonna distribute on Saturday. It is a lot of work. It's overwhelming, but it's great because we have met a lot of wonderful volunteers and people in these working days. Next slide, please, Carol.
What's next? Adelante is really looking forward to the future. We do want to continue to improve and strengthen the community connections that we've been able to create so far. Whenever we see other agencies struggling to connect with the families we serve, we try to support them and we try to build those bridges of communication and connection. We are ready to engage with the City of Thousand Oaks and the Conejo Recreation and Park District to find ways on how can we reach out to the families and how we can bring more services, more meaningful services to the families of the Conejo Valley. We have established relationships with other local organizations because we do understand about the importance of these connections and these collaborations. Some of the agencies that we have partnered with are Safe Passage, Harbor House, and other ones that are important to the progress of our community. Thank you. Next slide, please. Some of the
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead,
I'm sorry. Using the lessons learned from our pandemic year, this is a favorite part of my conversation. Step one was to build trust by going into the communities. This was crucial to our ongoing work and efforts for the families that we support. We've offered advice, advocacy, information, food, thermometers, household goods, flowers, gifts, friendship, and caring hearts. In the future, we would like to partner with other agencies and nonprofits to offer tutoring and literacy clubs, little libraries, water safety classes, nature walks in Spanish, and Spanish conversations for English speakers too. One of my wishes that we are going to be looking at is to help families that are not, students who have not gotten their diploma, who have arrived in high school, the ability to get their diploma despite having arrived late in the high school academic track. Thank you.
This is our social media, the way that you can find us. We have our website, Adelante Comunidad Conejo.org or com, because we already buy the dominium, and then our email, adelantecomunidadconejo@gmail.com. We are in Facebook. We have a private group because in the beginning, we didn't know what we're doing. That's the truth, but we have a public page right now. And then we have Twitter, Adelante Conejo. Thank you. Thank you for listening to us.